Let me ask you this question. Sales is leadership. Leadership is sales. Are you truly leading your customer? Hey, you're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast. My name's Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. We're going to unpack that and a whole lot more on this, the Weekly Sales Kickoff. And the show begins right now.
You're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast with Mark Hunter, where the focus is to help you as a sales leader sell with confidence and integrity. And now here's your host.
Okay, I talk a lot about how sales is leadership and leadership is sales. The question is, do you see yourself as a leader? You see, if you don't see yourself as a leader, why would you ever expect your customers to see you as a leader? And oh, by the way, who is it that customers want to buy from? Stop and think about that. Who do customers want to deal with? Who do they want to talk? Hey, in this world where everything is automated, if you are not being seen as a leader who is bringing insight, who is an individual who is lifting up those around you, then why should you expect to have any business at all? You see, sales is leadership. Plays out so many ways. You see, you show me a good salesperson who consistently makes the top level possible. You know, the chairman's award, the president's circle, whatever you want to call it, they're leading. And you show me a strong leader, and not just a leader for a moment, but a leader time and time again, a leader, consistent leader. What are they doing? They're selling. You see, it's the intersection of the two, because leaders truly do bring insight. Now let's spin this around for a little bit, because here's what I find. You can't be a sales leader in work without also being a sales leader in life. This is absolutely critical, absolutely essential. And here's where I'm going with this. There's a consistency that takes place. Hey, I'm going to unpack this more, but I got to do a shout out right now, real quick, to our sponsor. I want to give a quick shout out to a service I personally use and highly recommend, PR Boost. If you're a business owner, startup founder, or even a freelancer trying to build trust and credibility, getting featured in major news outlets can make a massive difference. And that's exactly what PR Boost does. They've helped me get published in recognized media sites. I'm talking Yahoo Finance, Business Insider, AP News, and more. I didn't have to chase journalists or write cold emails. PR Boost handled it all, from the writing of the article to getting it placed. Super simple, fast, and way more affordable than you think. Plus, they give you a badge that you can put on your website as seen on. That alone boosts your authority and conversion rate almost instantly. Here's the best part. For a limited time, you can get an extra 10% off your first PR package when you go to prboost.io. Use my code MARK at checkout. Again, that's promo code MARK for 10% off. So if you're ready to take your brand credibility to the next level, check out PR Boost. I've done it and it works. Okay, back to what we're talking about. Sales is leadership, and you have to be seen as a leader. Okay, what does this look like? Because again, it is not just in the workplace of selling, but it's the workplace of life. You see, stop and ask yourself this question. When you're a leader, you are lifting up those around you. Does this mean that you're ready for the hard conversation? No. But it's amazing how when you're working for somebody or around somebody who is lifting up other people, it's amazing how you get lifted up too. Remember when you were a kid and your mom said, be careful of who you associate with? This is so powerful. This is so true. See, people in today's world are looking for people who they can turn to and respect. If you want to be seen as a salesperson that customers want to deal with, if you want to be seen as the salesperson who gets referrals, who gets additional business, who gets introduction, who gets invited into meetings you didn't expect, you need to be seen as a sales leader. So what does that look like? Let me tell you about a story of a CEO of a major company. Now, I don't have this person's permission. I just remembered this story here the other day, and I haven't had time to reach out to him. He was CEO of a major Fortune 500 company. And here's the situation. He came in at a very delicate time into this company. Company I was working with at the time, doing consulting work with, we were invited in to meet with he and his senior executive team. Something very fascinating, very interesting about this relationship over this 2-3 day period where we were with he and his team is that he was incredibly nice, incredibly gracious. It was amazing how the hotel staff, when they would come in and service the breaks, he would thank them. He would appreciate them. He would acknowledge them. He was always being gracious to the people. And this is CEO of a major Fortune 500 company, a Fortune 500 company that was going through a tremendous amount of stress, tremendous amount of issues. Why company I was with at the time, consulting group, was brought in to help them. What was very interesting was at a break on the last day, I asked him, I said, you were incredibly nice. Are you always like this? And he kind of chuckled. He kind of laughed. He said, yes, he did. I grew up in the Midwest and my mom always told me to be nice to everybody. But then he really let on to something because I probed him. I said, now come on. My mom told me to do a lot of things that I don't do today. And he began to unpack it further. He said, here's what I found. When I am nice to other people, I make better decisions. Whoa, drop the mic on that one. Stop and think about what that means. When I'm nice to other people, I make better decisions. And I asked him, I said, explain that further. And he said, what happens is I listen better. I do not rush to conclusions. As a CEO, we tend to rush to conclusions. We always do because time is of the essence. But when I'm gracious, it's amazing how I take just a few more seconds, just a few more moments, and I listen to the person and I understand. And as a result, I make better decisions. And more importantly, I empower my people to make better decisions because they know that they have the ability to do that. Now, stop and think about that from a sales standpoint. How many times have you walked in on a sales call and you immediately drawing a conclusion as to where this is going to go, and you just want to get to that piece right then? Slow down. Your willingness to spend a few moments with them, your willingness to be gracious to the person who met you coming into the building, whatever it might be. See, stop and change your perspective. That's leadership. That's sales leadership, because a great sales leader knows that they can handle the situation regardless of where it is. They're not fearful of the customer saying things. They're not fearful of that. They want to get that conversation out on that. Okay, now let me shift gears here a little bit. I want to give you some really sage selling advice right now for this time that we're in, because have you noticed how much longer it seems to take to get customers to make a decision? I'm noticing this a lot. It's amazing at how difficult it is to get decisions. You see, talk is cheap. Customers will say, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and then they never do. You see, here's the whole thing. What I found, it's the actions and the follow-up that actually create the sale. Each week I get to work with great sales teams. I speak at conferences. I might be delivering a training or a coaching program or coaching individuals. But everybody is universal in saying things take longer. See, speeding up the sale is what we as sales leaders have to be doing. But it comes down to one thing and one thing only. Is what we're selling absolutely essential or urgent to them right now? I find this to be a big stumbling block right now for salespeople, because what happens is the more we try to race to close, it's slowing down, the more we tend to race to the product features and not the benefits. Let me give you a quick example of how this played out with myself and my wife. Our home. We have a wonderful home, and on one side of our property is a hill. And due to the number of trees in the area, grass just doesn't seem to want to grow. We've had a hard time holding the soil in place because the rain gets through the tree leaves, and wow, we've had tremendous erosion. And the challenge is the hill is slowly sliding away. And if I lose too much of the hillside, I could start having some foundation problems. So my wife and I concluded that we need to correct it. So we called various landscapers to get bids. Each bid addressed the problem, raised the hill, put in retaining walls, do various things. Okay, great. But none of them addressed why we were looking to do it. Why we were looking to do it was to preserve the potential risk to the foundation of the house. None of them asked questions about that. They all were racing to the product features, not the benefit. None of them asked us, why are you looking to do this? Why are you looking to do this? And it was amazing at how they delivered bids, okay? But none of them created urgency. So what's interesting is we get these bids in, and my wife and I get busy. We get busy. We're off chasing other things. We're doing other things, and weeks go by, months go by. Finally, we realize that we got to get this done. You see, it's very interesting is a landscaper could have closed the deal immediately if they had come back and really honed in on the reason we needed to have it, because the foundation. Could have really honed in and said, we need to get this done before the rainy season starts. You really don't want to go through another rainy season because, again, you could be at a risk of having foundation problems. You see, here's the question. Are you selling your service or product but not selling the real challenge the customer is addressing? This is the problem. I see this time and time again. It's your duty as a salesperson to help the customer. And you help the customer when you hone in on what are the benefits that they're looking for. Now, see, in this situation, we had benefits we were looking for. We wanted to preserve, we wanted to retain this hill, so to speak, to preserve our house. The urgency was the rainy season. And again, nobody picked up on it. Now, I'm not expecting landscapers to be absolutely fantastic salespeople. But you know what I find is that it is amazing at how I see this playing out in so many ways with salespeople all the time. Every week I'm with salespeople and I come back and I ask myself, did they go deep to find out what the benefit is? Hey, what are some of the questions that are going to allow you to know the why? The why we needed to get this hillside done. Are we asking those questions? When you hear the why, what are you doing with it? When you hear that, okay, we want to get this done because foundation problem. Are you building on it? Are you validating it? Are you exploring it? Let the customer unpack it for you. Don't rush. Take your time. Now, what's interesting is one of the reasons we are kind of a little bit urgent on it is because we have a number of friends who have got homes who have encountered severe foundation problems. I live in the state of Texas and the Dallas area. It's a common problem. And as a result, it was kind of on the forefront of our mind because we got to get this done because I don't want to wind up like some of my friends who have incurred major problems. Again, playing to the urgent. The customer will take you to the urgency. The customer will take you to the problem if you ask the question. This is why I started off this program here today, this weekly sales kickoff, talking about sales is leadership, leadership is sales. Because if I'm coming across as a leader, I have now the right to be able to ask you questions and engage. I come across as a leader because I'm seen as an expert in my field. I've taken the time to understand you and I've taken the time to listen to you. The customer will educate you if you are willing to listen to them. See, here's the thing. You've got to be able to speed up the sale, be willing to slow down the sale at the beginning. These landscapers I was working with, got all these bids from, the process slowed down because none of them slowed down at the beginning to really ask me what the why was. They were very quick to come out with their tools and so forth and do their measuring and do all their projections and send me back a bid. But they didn't get to the why. The why. What was the reason? Here's the situation. If we will spend our time focusing on listening for the why, we will then be able to create the urgency in the customer. And in this time frame that we're in, this economic period we're in, customers are only going after and making decisions on deals where there is a strong need and an urgency to get it done. Hey, reach out to me if you or your sales team want help with this issue. I feel quite strongly how solving this issue is going to go a long ways to helping you and your organization shorten your selling process. Sales is leadership. Leadership is sales. This has been the Weekly Sales Kickoff. I do hope you like the new longer version. Every Monday it comes to you. We do it live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And of course, it comes out as a podcast also every Monday morning. Check it out. My name is Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. Why do we do the podcast? It's simply like this, because I want to help you see and achieve what you didn't think was possible. 2 episodes a week, one like this where we do the Weekly Sales Kickoff, and the second episode is a deep dive with a subject matter expert. I'm Mark Hunter. Great selling, and let's make this a fantastic week.